So assume for this class we have completed till 8 parts. We completed variables, completed constants. We have discussed primitive data types. We also discussed dynamic typing, which means dynamic assigning of variables, nothing else. Now, the thing that we are going to discuss is objects. So, what I mean by objects? So, objects is nothing but they are a collection of some variables. It is also a variable. It contains another collection of variables. Now, let's assume let name equals to 1, let role equals to 1, let branch equals to CSC. So these are three variables: name, role, branch. Now what I want to do is instead of separating these three variables, creating these three variables in three, I want to encapsulate them into a single variable. So to do that thing, we need to do let something called as person equals. So this is how we create an object in JavaScript. So what we need to do is simply cut this and paste them here. So now the person is an object. So this is a reference data type, which means it has came from the primitive data types with the help of primitive data types. So we are using these primitive data types to build another new variable called person. So this is a reference data type. Now let's see what will be. Now let's print first of all what will be the output of person. So now let's see what will be the output. Oops, sorry. Sorry, forgot. Oh, my bad. Sorry. So to create a variable, you doesn't need to mention the data type. As you have mentioned the data type in the parent section, we simply need to do it something like this. Name just as a key and value pairs. Name role equals to 1 and branch equals to CSC. That's it. So don't forget to keep comma. You can also keep it here. That's not issue. So as you can see, the output is it prints an object name, role, branch. So if you're familiar with something, if you ever have heard something like this, JSON. So essentially JSON means JavaScript object notation. So this is the widely used format in API calls. Like if you want to get a response from an API, we will use this format called objects. So these are called as JSON, JavaScript object notations. So this is how we create an object. So nothing else. So simply let person equals in curly braces whatever the properties that you want. Uh, the properties to the left of column doesn't need to have uh, what is this first quotation marks. The variables to the right side of column must need to have quotations. So these are called JavaScript objects. So this is how we create a JavaScript object. Cool. Now that we have discussed objects in JavaScript, it's time to dive into arrays. So array is another important reference data type in JavaScript or any other language. So JavaScript is one of the arrays are one of the most widely used data structures in any language. So what is meant by an array? An array is something it contains a collection of variables of same data type, right? So but in JavaScript we can store variables of any other data types. Same kind of similar to lists, what we studied in Python and all the stuff. So, but in arrays in JavaScript, we can store variables of any data type or any count. So now let's see how to create an array. To create an array, we need to use the let keyword, the array name, and square braces. So remember, to create an object, we need to use curly braces. To create an array, we need to use square braces. So inside the square braces, you can type whatever you want. So that's it. So let me print this out. Console.log a. So as you can see, it has printed the array. So don't confuse it with a list. It is an array in JavaScript. So that's it. So this is how we create arrays in JavaScript. We need to use the curly brace, square brackets. We can also pass it something like another data types as well. So console.log a. So as you can see, it has printed the output as well. No errors. Even I have used the combination of integers and a string, it won't throw me an error. Now, if you observe closely, I haven't put the semicolons here, right? So this is how JavaScript works. So semicolons are not a must thing in JavaScript, but it is a good practice to maintain those. So these are arrays in JavaScript. So that's all. To create an array, we use the let keyword, array name, and the elements. We can also use it as a const if you want, but the only catch is you can't update the array. That's it. Cool. So now that you have a good understanding on the basics of JavaScript, like variables, data types, and all the stuff. Let's let's see functions in JavaScript. So functions. So what are functions? So functions are nothing but these are used to perform a certain task. So a function is something it has a block of lines which are meant to perform an action or task in just like any other programming language. So now we will see how we can create a function in JavaScript. So to create a function in JavaScript, we need to use the function keyword. So as you may know, we doesn't need to specify the return type. Why don't we need to specify the return type? Because JavaScript is a dynamically typed language. So to create a function name, parenthesis, and curly braces. So here you can pass args, and here you can keep it the main logic. So this is how we create a function in JavaScript. Cool. Now let's create a function to add two numbers. Before doing that, let me tell you a basic function. Function hey. So what I will do is I will simply print something. Hello. So now we created the function, but we also need to call the function, right? So function call, function definition. Now let's see what will be the output. So as you have guessed it earlier, the output will be 10. Sorry, hello. Cool. So this is how we can create a basic function in JavaScript. Now what? Now let's take this to next level. Let me add an parameter called name. So what I will do is I will print it with hello name, which means just like a greeting message, hello money, like something. Now I will pass a parameter inside this function call hello money. Now let's see what will be the output. So as you may see, the output is hello money. So this is how we pass parameters for a function in JavaScript. We can also pass multiple functions. So notice that I'm not giving any data type to parameters because it is dynamically typed. So now let's see what will be the output again. So I just used the rule, but I haven't used it in the print statement. So the output is unaltered. The output is hello money as well. So that's it, guys. How we can create a function in JavaScript. So now, uh, so as you may seen already, this may be a little hard. Like for example, hello money. What I will do is I will print something like this. So role will be role. Hello money role equals to 1, right? So the problem is not problem, but if you may notice, the statement is going crazy, right? We need to use double quotes here. We don't need to use double quotes here. We can use double quotes plus in between this stuff, and there is a shorthand notation for this in JavaScript. So console.log, what you need to do is simply use the backticks just above below the escape key, and we need to simply hello. So if we want to use a variable name inside this statement, we need to use the dollar symbol and curly braces. No, pass the variable name. Hello name role, same thing, role. That's it. Now let's see what will be the output. Let me comment this line. So as you have seen, the output is unaltered. It is hello money role one. So this is a slightly readable version, right? So this is very complex statement. This is very easier. All you need to do is simply wrap the entire statement inside the backticks and use this dollar sign for variables. So this is called template literals in JavaScript. So this type of syntax. So this is how we create functions in JavaScript. Cool. So now let's see some other functions like arrow functions in JavaScript. So arrow functions are nothing but these are nameless functions in JavaScript. You can also say like anonymous functions. Right? So to create an arrow function, simply let me do it something like this. So function add, it takes two variables a comma b, and it returns the output. Sorry, returns a plus b. Now I'm calling this as add of 2 comma 3. So don't forget, as it returns the value, I need to print it inside the console. Add 2 comma 3. So now let's see the output. So the output is as expected, it's 5, right? So the output is 5. Now uh, to instead of doing this thing, you can simply do it in a short way with the help of arrow functions. To create an arrow function, we need to simply let a equals. So we need to pass the parameters here, this part a b, right? Oops, sorry. I will change this as sum. Sum equals ab. Now what all I need to do is a plus b, right? Simply I can comment these lines and I will console.log sum. So now what I will do is I'll pass some variables. Sorry, ab, right? So we'll pass 2 comma 3 here. Now let's see what will the output. So as you can see, the output is 5. So these are called arrow functions. So instead of writing this all code, I have trimmed it to a single line. So if you observe closely, how this works is, so sum will be our function name. These are the parameters, and this is the block that we write inside the curly braces. So you can shorthand this to let sum equals ab implies a plus b, which means it returns like this. It works in the background. So this is the shorthand notations for functions. We use this for arrow functions. These are called as arrow functions. These just look like an arrow, right? Single line of arrow. Now let's see another example for arrow functions. So what I will do is let a equals uh, just the program that we wrote earlier, hello name, right? So name equals what I need to return, hello plus name. That's it. So this is a function. So let the function name will be show. So to display this, what I need to do, console.log show of money. That's it. So the output will be hello money. So that's it, guys. These are the arrow functions. Now I will show you the exact arrow function in normal terms, in normal function. So function show quotation name return hello plus name show money. So this is the code for the above. Both works exactly same, but this is the very shorthand notation and very modern as well. So these are arrow functions. These are normal functions in JavaScript. So I hope this tutorial is very helpful to you. In the coming classes, we will be diving deeper into some advanced concept of JavaScript and how we can integrate JavaScript into HTML. So as you can see, we have finished the basics of JavaScript. So with the help of this tutorial, you will be able to write small JavaScript programs inside of an online browser. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next tutorials on this channel.